Imagine, if you will, the sun-drenched waters of the Caribbean, a paradise of turquoise and sapphire. You might picture the sleek, powerful form of a shark, the apex predator of these vibrant seas. But what if I told you that for centuries, a far more ancient, far more colossal, and infinitely more terrifying entity has been whispered about in hushed tones by those who know these waters best? A creature said to be a nightmarish fusion of a shark's devastating bite and an octopus's crushing embrace, a 60-meter leviathan known as the Lusca. This is not merely a tale to scare children. It is a legend woven into the very fabric of the Caribbean, a chilling mystery that continues to haunt the deep, dark blue holes of the Bahamas. For hundreds of years, the legend of the Lusca has cast a long, cold shadow over the sun-kissed Caribbean. It is a story that transcends generations, a chilling whisper passed from seasoned fishermen who have spent their lives on these waters to intrepid divers who dare to explore its hidden depths. The origins of this terrifying saga are not pinned to a single, definitive sighting, but rather, the Lusca has materialized from the collective fear and awe inspired by the ocean's mysteries, much like a phantom emerging from the deepest, most unexplored trenches. Its presence is most acutely felt around the enigmatic Andros Island in the Bahamas, a place riddled with blue holes, colossal, underwater sinkholes that plunge into an abyss of inky darkness. These geological wonders, beautiful and treacherous in equal measure, are said to be the favored lairs of this monstrous predator. The earliest documented accounts, some dating back to 1779, speak of Bahamian fishermen encountering something that defied all known marine biology. These were not tales of ordinary sharks or even exceptionally large squid. These were stories of a creature of unimaginable scale and terrifying hybrid characteristics. The name itself, Lusca, or sometimes referred to more descriptively as the sea giant hand, evokes an image of immense power and grasping, inescapable doom. Over the centuries, the core elements of the Lusca's description have remained remarkably consistent. The tearing, bone-crushing jaws of a great shark, seamlessly melded with the sinuous, deadly tentacles of colossal octopus. It's a combination that seems engineered for absolute predatory efficiency, a perfect killing machine born from the ocean's darkest dreams. Eyewitness testimonies, though often fragmented and tinged with the terror of the encounter, paint a horrifyingly vivid picture. Professional divers, even as recently as 2005, have emerged from the depths, pale and shaken, describing suckers the size of dinner plates, capable of anchoring the beast to any surface, and tentacles as thick and powerful as a grown man's waist, strong enough to ensnare and crush. These are not the embellishments of excitable novices. These are the accounts of individuals who understand the ocean, who know its inhabitants, and who have seen something that fundamentally challenges that understanding. The fear the Lusca instills is palpable. For generations, experienced fishermen, men who have weathered countless storms and faced the known dangers of the sea without flinching, would consciously choose to navigate miles out of their way rather than venture near waters deemed cursed, areas inextricably linked to Lusca sightings and disappearances. Their reluctance speaks volumes, a testament to a deeply ingrained respect, or perhaps terror, of this unseen behemoth. It is said that even the legendary oceanographer Jacques Cousteau, a pioneer who dedicated his life to unraveling the ocean's secrets and demystifying its creatures, was met with solemn, earnest warnings from the local islanders about the Lusca's very real presence when his expeditions brought him to these fabled waters. The very air around Andros Island, particularly near its numerous blue holes, seems thick with these ancient warnings, a silent acknowledgement of something vast and formidable that resides just beyond the reach of human comprehension. Some have even tentatively linked the unexplained disappearances within the broader enigma of the Bermuda Triangle to the predatory activities of such a colossal, elusive creature, though such connections remain firmly in the realm of speculation. The blue holes themselves are central to the Lusca's mythology. These are not mere indentations in the seabed. They are gaping maws, vertical caverns that plunge hundreds of feet into the earth, leading to a labyrinthine network of submerged caves and tunnels. They are portals to an underworld, beautiful in their azure stillness from above, but concealing a dark, claustrophobic, and often treacherous environment below. It is from these shadowy depths that the Lusca is said to strike. The typical narrative of a Lusca attack, pieced together from countless local tales and historical accounts, follows a chillingly consistent pattern. Imagine a vessel, perhaps a fishing boat laden with its catch or a small trading ship, sailing through seemingly calm seas. Suddenly, without warning, the ship is seized by an unseen force. It lurches violently, its bow inexplicably dragged downwards, as if an invisible anchor of immense weight has been dropped. Panic erupts on deck as the crew struggles against this colossal, unseen power. Then, the sea itself seems to conspire, the surface erupting into a monstrous, swirling whirlpool, the very entrance to a blue hole transforming into a vortex of doom. The ship, despite its size, is inexorably drawn into this swirling maw, pulled beneath the waves with terrifying speed. Moments later, the surface calms, the whirlpool subsides, and all that remains are a few pieces of floating wreckage, perhaps a splintered mast or a broken oar, bobbing silently on the now placid water, a stark testament to the horror that has just unfolded. An eerie, profound silence descends, the ocean having reclaimed its victim, leaving no trace of the struggle or the monstrous entity responsible. The sheer size attributed to the Lusca is perhaps its most defining and most debated characteristic. Tales speak of a creature whose body length can range from a staggering 23 meters to an almost unbelievable 60 meters. To put this into perspective, the largest scientifically verified cephalopod, the colossal squid, measures around 13 meters. The Lusca, if the legends hold true, would dwarf this known giant by a factor of nearly 5, placing it in a category of marine life far beyond anything currently cataloged by science. This immense scale, coupled with its terrifying hybrid nature, the vicious shark-like head for tearing and the octopus-like tentacles for ensnaring and crushing, paints a picture of a predator perfectly evolved to dominate its shadowy domain. It is a creature capable of not just attacking, but of utterly annihilating vessels, pulling them into the abyss with horrifying ease. Some of the more fantastical accounts, likely embellished through generations of storytelling, attribute even stranger abilities to the Lusca. There are whispers of it possessing multiple heads, each presumably armed with those terrifying jaws, or the ability to change its skin color and texture, much like its smaller octopus cousins, allowing it to achieve perfect camouflage, blending seamlessly into the dark, craggy environments of the underwater caves and blue holes. While these more extreme claims stretch credulity, they underscore the profound terror and mystery surrounding the creature. Despite the often fantastical nature of a legend, the consistency of certain core details across different eras and among various eyewitnesses is compelling. In the numerous scattered reports, from faded newspaper clippings to modern dive logs, a pattern emerges. The immense size, the multiple, powerful tentacles, and the terrifying, shark-like maw are recurring themes. This consistency, even across centuries, suggests that these accounts may not be entirely born of pure fantasy. As we move into the modern era, the legend of the Lusca has not faded, but has instead attracted the attention of explorers and investigators armed with more sophisticated tools. One of the most compelling modern encounters occurred around 2005. An experienced underwater photographer, a professional accustomed to the wonders and dangers of the deep, was exploring a remote, seldom visited blue hole on Andros Island. He descended into the deepening gloom, his dive light cutting a solitary beam through the inky blackness, illuminating an alien landscape of submerged rock formations and shadowy recesses. As he ventured deeper into the heart of the blue hole, a place where few had dared to go before, a flicker in the periphery of his vision caught his attention. He turned, and his blood ran cold. A colossal, dark shape was emerging from the abyss below, something far larger and more substantial than any octopus or squid he had ever encountered in his extensive diving career. He estimated its tentacle span, if fully extended, could have reached a terrifying 15 meters. Before he could fully process the enormity of what he was witnessing, a thick, powerful tentacle, impossibly fast, shot out from the gloom and wrapped itself around his expensive underwater camera rig. The grip was immensely strong, pulling him downwards. Reacting on pure instinct and adrenaline, the photographer fought back, desperately trying to free his equipment. In the terrifying struggle that ensued, he managed to cut his camera loose, sacrificing his valuable gear to save his life. He ascended rapidly, his heart pounding, his mind reeling from the encounter. When he finally reached the surface, shaken but alive, he discovered the chilling proof of his ordeal. Clear, distinct, circular sucker marks were imprinted on his arm, a physical testament to the immense power and tangible reality of the creature that had attacked him from the depths. These were not the marks of any known octopus of that region. Their size and the force implied were on another scale entirely. His expensive camera, however, remained in the blue hole, dragged into the darkness by the creature, a silent offering to the Luska. The legend also caught the attention of biologist and famed angler Jeremy Wade, host of the television series River Monsters. Known for his fearless pursuit of elusive and often dangerous aquatic creatures, Wade and his team embarked on an investigation into the Luska mystery. Armed with advanced sonar technology and underwater cameras, they ventured into one of the blue holes reputed to be a Luska hotspot. During a particularly tense night dive, as they explored the shadowy depths, their sonar equipment registered a startling anomaly. A very large, unidentified object moving with surprising speed through the water column, far exceeding the size of any known fish or marine mammal typically found in those waters. Simultaneously, their underwater cameras captured fleeting, blurry images, tantalizing glimpses of what appeared to be enormous, sinuous tentacles whipping through the murky water. The team also experienced significant, unexplained water displacement, a powerful surge that buffeted their equipment, and heard distinct, unsettling thumping sounds emanating from the depths, as if something truly massive was moving or perhaps even striking the cave walls nearby. While they didn't achieve a clear, definitive visual identification, the combination of sonar readings, fragmented visual evidence, and the powerful physical sensations left Wade and his team convinced that they had been in the presence of something extraordinarily large and unknown. The scientific understanding of the Bahamian blue holes themselves has evolved, lending a degree of plausibility to the idea of a large, elusive creature inhabiting them. For a long time, these underwater caverns were thought to be isolated, self-contained geological features. However, more recent and extensive cave diving explorations and geological surveys have revealed a far more complex reality. Many of these blue holes are not isolated at all, but are, in fact, interconnected, forming a vast, labyrinthine network of submerged tunnels and passages that extend for miles beneath the islands and out into the open ocean. This discovery is crucial. Such an extensive underwater cave system could theoretically provide a perfect, secluded habitat for a large marine predator. It would offer shelter, access to a variety of prey from both the open ocean and the unique ecosystems within the caves, and countless avenues for movement and escape, allowing such a creature to remain largely undetected by surface-dwelling humans for centuries. A creature like the Luska would not need to be confined to a single blue hole. It could navigate this vast subterranean realm, appearing and disappearing with ghost-like unpredictability, entering the blue holes from the deep ocean to hunt or seek refuge. Of course, skepticism remains a healthy and necessary component of investigating such extraordinary claims. Many scientists and experienced divers attribute Luska sightings to more mundane, though still potentially dangerous, phenomena. One common explanation is nitrogen narcosis, a disorienting condition that can affect divers at depth, leading to impaired judgment, hallucinations, and misinterpretation of sensory input. In the dark, claustrophobic, and often confusing environment of a deep blue hole, a diver suffering from narcosis could easily mistake a known creature, a shadow, or even a rock formation for something monstrous. Misidentification is another frequently cited possibility. A large but known marine animal, perhaps a particularly large octopus, a giant squid that has wandered into the cave system, or even a large shark seen under poor visibility conditions, could be perceived as something far more terrifying. The murky water, the limited visibility offered by dive lights, and the inherent stress of exploring such challenging environments could all contribute to an observer's perception being distorted, leading them to exaggerate the size and ferocity of what they encountered. The ocean, after all, is home to many large and unusual creatures, and a fleeting glimpse under duress could easily lead to an inaccurate assessment. Furthermore, the very real dangers of the blue holes themselves, strong, unpredictable tidal currents that can surge through the narrow passages, sudden collapses of unstable cave sections, or even the formation of natural whirlpools at their entrances, could account for some of the ship disappearances attributed to the Luska. Over centuries, these natural maritime tragedies could have been personified with the blame laid upon a monstrous entity, giving a terrifying face to the ocean's capricious power. The Luska legend, from this perspective, becomes a cultural psychological phenomenon, a manifestation of humanity's primal fear of the unknown depths and the powerful, often destructive, forces of nature. Despite these skeptical viewpoints, the first-hand accounts, particularly those from experienced divers and investigators like the photographer in 2005 or Jeremy Wade's team, cannot be entirely dismissed as mere fantasy or simple misidentification. The physical evidence of the sucker marks, the consistent sonar readings of a massive, fast-moving object, and the sheer terror experienced by credible witnesses suggest that something unusual, something powerful, and something very large may indeed inhabit these enigmatic blue holes. Jeremy Wade himself, after his own unsettling investigation, leaned towards the possibility that the Luska, if real, might be an exceptionally large species of octopus. He theorized that when an octopus moves rapidly by jet propulsion, its mantle and head can take on a more streamlined, almost shark-like appearance from certain angles, and its trailing tentacles could certainly give the impression of a multi-limbed monstrosity. This hypothesis offers a potential bridge between the seemingly disparate elements of the Luska legend, the shark-like head and the octopus-like tentacles, by suggesting they could be different aspects of a single, albeit colossal, known type of animal. The Bahamas Caves Research Foundation and similar organizations have conducted extensive research into these blue hole systems. Their findings confirm the incredible complexity and scale of this underwater world, a realm far exceeding initial estimations. These interconnected cave systems are now known to stretch for miles, creating a vast, largely unexplored subterranean aquatic environment. This discovery has profound implications for the Luska legend. It means that if such a creature exists, it would not be confined to a single, easily searchable blue hole. Instead, it would have access to a sprawling, three-dimensional labyrinth, a perfect hiding place and hunting ground, extending from the inland blue holes out to the deep waters of the open ocean. It could enter these systems from the sea, use the blue holes as ambush points, and retreat into the uncharted darkness of the cave network, making it exceptionally difficult to locate, study, or even definitively prove its existence. This interconnectedness explains why sightings are sporadic and often occur in different blue holes or coastal areas around Andros Island. The creature could simply be moving through its vast, hidden territory. The challenges of exploring these environments are immense. The blue holes are often characterized by extreme depths, reaching hundreds of meters. The internal structure is frequently complex and maze-like, with narrow passages, sudden drops, and disorienting chambers. Visibility can be severely limited, with dive lights often swallowed by the pervasive darkness, and currents can be strong and unpredictable. Some areas within these cave systems even contain layers of toxic hydrogen sulfide, deadly to most forms of life and hazardous for divers. Standard marine biology survey methods, such as trawling or extensive visual surveys, are largely ineffective in these convoluted and dangerous underwater environments. Researchers and explorers must often rely on direct and inherently risky scuba diving or the limited reach of remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, to gather information. The timing of encounters also adds another layer of complexity. If the Luska is real, it is undoubtedly a highly cautious and elusive creature. It has survived for centuries, if the legends are true, by avoiding human detection. It would likely be a master of ambush and stealth, perfectly adapted to its dark, labyrinthine environment. Catching a glimpse, let alone obtaining definitive proof, would require an incredible stroke of luck, being in the right place at precisely the right moment, a moment when the creature chooses to reveal itself or is inadvertently disturbed. The traditional wisdom of the local Bahamian fishermen, passed down through generations, has provided valuable clues for scientific investigators. These fishermen, whose lives and livelihoods are intimately connected to the sea, have long spoken of specific blue holes in particular times, often related to tidal patterns or seasons, when the water exhibits unusual behavior. They describe strange currents, inexplicable upwellings, or even a sensation that the blue hole is breathing, as if something immense is inhaling and exhaling within its depths. These anecdotal observations, once dismissed as folklore, are now being considered more seriously by researchers as potential indicators of large animal activity or unique hydrological phenomena within the cave systems that might create conditions favorable for an ambush predator. So, what is the truth behind the Luska? The evidence, as it stands, is a tantalizing mix of compelling eyewitness accounts, suggestive but inconclusive modern investigations, and a deep well of historical folklore. Several main theories attempt to unravel this enigma. The undiscovered giant species hypothesis remains the most alluring for many. This theory posits that the Luska is indeed a real biological entity, a species of colossal cephalopod, perhaps an octopus, a squid, or even a unique hybrid that has remained unknown to science, perfectly adapted to the unique environment of the Bahamian blue holes and their interconnected cave systems. Proponents of this view point to the vastness of the unexplored ocean and the fact that new, sometimes surprisingly large, species are still being discovered. The unique ecological conditions of the blue holes, potentially offering both abundant prey and protection, could theoretically support the evolution of such a giant. The consistent descriptions of its size and hybrid features in eyewitness accounts, stretching back centuries, are cited as evidence, as are the physical marks left on the 2005 diver. Then there is the misidentification and exaggeration theory. This perspective suggests that the Luska is not a distinct, unknown creature, but rather the result of encounters with known large marine animals, such as giant squids, large sharks, or exceptionally large octopuses, that have been misinterpreted and subsequently exaggerated over time. The challenging conditions of the blue holes, poor visibility, disorienting depths, the psychological stress of exploration, and the potential for nitrogen narcosis could all lead to observers misjudging the size, shape, and nature of what they see. A fleeting glimpse of a large octopus in the murky depths, its tentacles flailing, or the powerful rush of a large shark, could easily be transformed by fear and the unreliability of memory into the monstrous form of the Luska. The stories are then passed down, each retelling potentially adding another layer of dramatic embellishment. Finally, the cultural psychological phenomenon theory views the Luska primarily as a product of the human psyche. It suggests that the legend is rooted in our innate human fear of the unknown, particularly the vast, dark, and often dangerous expanse of the deep ocean. Tragic but natural events, such as ships sinking due to strong currents, rogue waves, or navigational errors near the treacherous blue holes, could, over time, be attributed to a malevolent, monstrous entity. The Lusca, in this view, becomes a powerful cultural symbol, a way for communities to make sense of and personify the very real dangers and mysteries of their marine environment. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, a repository for collective anxieties, and a thrilling narrative that captures the imagination. Ultimately, the truth of the Lusca may lie in a combination of these explanations. It is conceivable that a very large, perhaps undiscovered or unusually large variant of a known cephalopod does inhabit the extensive blue hole systems of the Bahamas. Encounters with such a creature, especially under stressful and disorienting conditions, could easily lead to reports that, while based on a real event, become exaggerated in their details over time. The very real dangers posed by the blue holes themselves, the powerful currents, the disorienting darkness, the potential for getting lost in the labyrinthine passages, undoubtedly contribute to an atmosphere of fear and mystery that would naturally fuel such legends. The Lusca, this creature that has echoed through Caribbean lore for hundreds of years, has transcended its potential biological reality to become something more. It is a mirror reflecting our own complex relationship with the ocean, our fear of its power, our awe at its mysteries, and our insatiable desire to explore and understand the unknown. It embodies the thrill of the undiscovered, the chilling possibility that colossal, uncatalogued life forms still lurk in the planet's deepest, darkest corners. The investigation into the Lusca is far from over, as technology advances, allowing for deeper and more thorough exploration of these underwater cave systems. Perhaps one day, we will have a definitive answer. Until then, the Lusca remains a powerful and unsettling enigma, a testament to the enduring power of legend and the vast, unexplored frontiers that still exist on our own planet. Whether it is a flesh-and-blood leviathan, a trick of the mind in a hostile environment, or a potent cultural myth, the story of the Lusca continues to grip our imagination, reminding us that the ocean still holds many secrets. What do you believe lurks in those dark, silent depths? Is it the cold, hard data of scientific analysis that holds the key, or is there something to be said for the persistent, chilling whispers of those ancient, dramatic tales, passed down through generations, warning of the monster in the blue? The mystery, like the creature itself, remains elusive, deep, and profoundly unsettling.